Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be talking about the British Field Service Gap in Norwegian service, primarily during World War II, but we'll talk about the history as the video goes on. And let's just get right into it. So, of course, the Norwegian army in World War II capitulated in 1940, but efforts were soon set up to set up a army in exile primarily in Great Britain, and the plan was first to start producing and issuing out uniforms following the pre-war Norwegian patterns. So that would have been primarily the M1914 and M1934 patterns of uniform, but those plans quickly fell through, and the Norwegian army started buying and receiving British battle dress. And as you may know, the British at the start of World War II issued these out as the primary headwear for wearing with battle dress when not wearing field kit. And as a result, Norway also got these, and they basically, to make it kind of Norwegify it a little bit, they followed the pre-war patterns of badge wearing for the kepi that was being used by the Norwegian army. And what they did was they took out the two buttons that would have been on the British Field Service cap and replaced it with one large line button. You can see that. Yes, one large line button and one cockade up here. This one is made out of layered felt, but you can also see in pictures enameled cockades. And there's no real difference between those, but of course this is way more common to see with the ranks of privates and corporals, and that's what this is set up to be. This is for privates and corporals, and I'll show you what the badges would have looked like for officers. But you also do see these with instead of one large button, just replaced with two smaller buttons with the same motif, the same lion as shown here, and then also with the cockade. But sometimes you do see the cockade mounted up here, even though the official regulation states that it's supposed to be mounted here. So it seems to have been up to the individual units or soldiers who put on these badges. Of course, the British had on the left side of the cap, they had a regimental cap badge right here, and in 1942, this is the February of 1942. This is the badge that Norway adopted to put on field service caps and berets, and this would of course be used with a later general service cap as well. But this is what they put on it, and this is basically how the badges would have been throughout the history that this was used by the Norwegian army. So of course, in this would have been used during the war, and even when the British, even when the British general service caps were being introduced into Norwegian units as well, these would have stayed with some, and after the war they were being phased out relatively quickly, but they still seem to have been used for a while by coastal artillery. So I'm not entirely sure why that is, but of course coastal artillery didn't do that much. They weren't a huge branch, so you could equip the remaining field service caps with this. But you also see in photos these being mixed with berets and field service gaps. So, and really by the early 1950s, these were getting very long in the tooth. So they basically, as soon as Norway got rid of British battle dress in general, general issue, these were also phased out and replaced by basically berets in main service. And these original ones are very hard to come by. I'm not exactly sure the reason for that. I've never seen one with my own eyes, and they're very rare to find in general. So this is a reproduction made by What Price Glory Central Europe, and is based on photographs and uniform regulations from the Second World War. And of course, let's show the badges. This is a sergeant badge, and of course it will be mounted the exact same position. Just look at them side by side. And I don't have a army officer badge, but this is an Air Force one, and this is exactly the same. The only difference is the background color. So you will still have the red lion button with the golden lion. So just putting those side by side, just so you can see. And of course, generals would have had their own badge with a golden background or two gold stripes, depending a bit. And of course, those are very rare, so I don't have one of those to show you. And of course, these were being used, being worn the same way as the British would have worn them, sometimes at quite the steep angle, like this. Basically the fashion of the time, not unique to the British. So that's really it as far as this video goes. If you have any questions or comments or anything, leave them down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you for watching. Bye.